So, Ohio, giving out vaccinations, right? And you, a lucky winner, could get $1 million. We got to talk about it, so stay tuned.
1 in a million to one villain. Too hot to be in the kitchen, I'll end up melting the ceiling.
What's going on, Javier Lobby? It's your boy Javier with the Javier Show. Make sure you say it twice. As you can see, this is actually my first time in the YouTube studio that I'm building. And as you can see, I got a little stuff laid out and some stuff behind you. But I'm hoping to be finished with the YouTube studio in maybe a week or two. So really look forward to that. And I also want to remind you that I got the podcast that I'm about to begin with Ben Farmer Jr. that's in the works. So be on the lookout for that. And if you're not a Patreon supporter, I highly recommend that you go ahead and sign up at patreon.com/the Javier Show. $5.99 a month. And trust me, things about to heat up. And I really got some great content that I want to share and some perks for the people who actually support the show. Now, with that being said and out of the way, let's get into this $1 million lottery for the people who are getting vaccinated in the state of Ohio. I want to play this clip, kind of give you a generalization of what's going on in Ohio for those of you who don't know.
Well, there is a big change coming today to Ohio's so-called Vax-a-Million lottery. You're now going to have to opt in, even if you thought you were automatically registered. John London here to explain the official terms, conditions, and the eligibility here, John.
Yeah, nothing automatic about it. As it turns out, to qualify, as you say, you'll have to act. That's a big change from last week. You have to be vaccinated and 18 or older at the time of the drawing. If you're 12 to 17, you have a shot at a full ride as long as there's proof you've had a shot. Health Director Stephanie McLeod and Lottery Director Pat McDonald delineated the details this morning about Ohio Governor Mike DeWine's money as motivation idea to get more Ohioans vaccinated. No longer enough to be a vaccinated voter to be a part of the pool. If you want in, you have to opt in. You need to register online or call a special number that will be set up. The states decided it will be easier that way to verify you're vaccinated and eligible. Unlike the state lottery itself, you won't be able to shield your identity. The names of the winners will be made public, and the first drawing will be a week from tonight. The first winner will be announced the following Wednesday night, and you can start registering if you want to at 8 tomorrow morning.
That means if we play this out by May 23rd, 2021 at 11:59 p.m., the individual, in order to be eligible, must have at least their first dose of either Pfizer or Moderna, or the one dose of Johnson & Johnson, and they must have entered the drawing through our opt-in process, either through the internet or by phone.
And Director McLeod believes Vax-a-Million is already working as intended. She says more than 25,000 were vaccinated in Ohio last Friday. That's the largest amount in 3 weeks. John London, WLWT News 5.
All right, as you heard it yourself, you got to opt in. You can't just get vaccinated and decide, oh, well, I might win $1 million. It ain't working that way. But that's not why you're really here. You really want to know what I think about this whole $1 million lottery, right? I think it's BS for a few reasons. Now, I'm going to jump straight right into this. The first reason, who elected politicians or these lawmakers to decide in Ohio that they're going to just start giving away taxpayer dollars to incentivize people to get vaccinated? This is not an anti-vaxxer statement. This is not a pro-vaxxer statement. This is literally about what our government's fundamental role is and why we should actually be participating in something like this. And the second point I want to bring up is, who are the people who don't want to get vaccinated, who decided that being vaccinated is so bad that they will only do it if they had a chance to win $1 million? I gotta keep saying $1 million because somehow in my mind I can't really fathom that the state is trying to give people $1 million to get vaccinated. Now, this is not like a lottery in your state where you actually put money in and you have a lucky chance of hitting your numbers and possibly getting the reward. No, this is totally different. This is if you just go down here, stick a needle in your arm, get vaccinated, that you will somehow enter a chance to win $1 million. It sounds sweet, but this is a problem. Now, I'm not against people having incentives to go out and get vaccinated. If that's what you want to do, have at it. For those people who want to get vaccinated, I'm 100% behind you. I think you should go out and get vaccinated. If you trust the vaccines, go for it. Definitely. And look, if you're somebody who don't trust the vaccines, if you looked at the evidence and you looked at the studies and you err on the side of not getting vaccinated, maybe you're on your own. Me personally, I'm not against the vaccines, but that's neither here nor there. But I want to point out something that's very vital in this whole situation. It really shows you where we've come at in America today. People like to fundamentally narrow everything down to dollar bills. Like everything that we discuss about politics right now, even religion and culture, you know those are my top three. I said that wrong, leaving it in. But everything is about finances. It's a power dynamic. You can't be happy unless you got money. You can't be successful unless you got money. You can't be anything in America unless you got money. Look, I'm not against capitalism. I love capitalism. I think capitalism has helped build so many things that we probably couldn't have fathomed. It helped lift so many people out of poverty. I'm 100% a capitalist. But why is it that we live in a society where everybody determines their value based on the amount of money that they have, or the amount of money that they can make, or about the amount of money that they can distribute amongst other people? Politicians love to think in this mentality. If I can just give people something, they will do what I want them to do. And this is exactly what's going on in this situation. It lets you in on how politicians really think about you. But is it warranted? Is it really true that if you offer people and make promises based on, dollars and millions, that you would somehow coerce their behavior? It is true. Look, I'll be honest. I don't really play the lottery. I've never been a gambling man. I hate to go out and gamble on a game of bowling. It's really not my thing. I personally think gambling is a vice that I would prefer to stay away from. Now, with that being said, this is not really a gamble with this whole vaccine. This is more of just purely like, if you're going to get vaccinated, you're going to get vaccinated regardless. It doesn't really matter if they're going to give you $1 million or not. But it really tells you this. If you get vaccinated and somebody else get vaccinated and one person wins $1 million, is that fair? Why should you getting $1 million for getting vaccinated be up for a random draw? That makes no sense at all. Not only that, that's not your money. You don't have a right to that money because you went and got vaccinated. And if you have a right to that money, then everybody else who went out and got vaccinated should get $1 million as well. You always talk about equity and equality and all of these different things, but every time the state decides that they want to spend money recklessly on things that really have no common sense behind it, people jump to it. The best politicians are the ones who are going to promise to fix your problems. Fix your problems for any and everything, even though you might be at fault for it. Sometimes you got to take a risk in life. It's about chaos and order. It's about managing these things. And a lot of people, they like to avoid chaos, but if you don't take the risk, you don't get the reward. Now, some people could say that getting the vaccine is a risk. I would likely think that I would literally think that if they have to coerce you to get the vaccine. If the data backs it up, if everything and all the numbers are there to prove that this vaccine is helpful, which from my understanding it is, then people should have an incentive to go get it just for the sake of not wanting to get sick, not wanting to die from COVID. Especially if you're somebody who's been around somebody who had COVID or suffered from COVID or died from COVID, you would probably want to go get vaccinated. This just makes sense. $1 million lottery makes no sense. Whose money is that? Now, luckily, I'm all about states' rights. If the people in Ohio want to actually participate in this lottery, if they support the politicians in their state of doing this with their tax dollars, hey, go for it. I'm 100% behind it. I just find it silly and what statement they're actually making to society right now. And you want to pay attention to these type of things. The reason you want to pay attention is because it's simple. When politicians start to put the carrot out there, they realize they don't need a stick. The carrot always works. It always works. You can catch more flies with honey. You know that saying, right? And that's exactly what this is. So if you're in Ohio, you know somebody in Ohio who's probably getting vaccinated just to try to get a chance of being a millionaire, ask yourself, what do they really think about you? How much is your life really worth? How much is your health really worth? Because if it wasn't for the $1 million and you really cared about your health, you would get the vaccine anyway. So that's just my thoughts on it. What do you think about this old Ohio $1 million vaccine lottery? Are you for it? Are you against it? Do you understand where I'm coming from? Yeah, write in the comments below. Tell me what your thoughts are. And before you go, if you made it this far, like, subscribe, and share. It only takes 1 second to like and subscribe and share. Please, share this video with somebody you care about, somebody you love, somebody who likes these ideas and thoughts and want to actually confront them head on. With that being said, thank y'all so much for watching. Without y'all, I wouldn't be able to get this YouTube studio going. This is my first time recording on this microphone that I just plugged up. So if the audio is not so good, bear with me. If it is, awesome. I look forward to bringing out more content. I'm going to get back to my live soon, so be on the lookout for that as well. With that being said, as always, peace and glory. I'm out.
1 in a million to one villain. Too hot to be in the kitchen, out in the melting the ceiling.